kay Pangulong Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. kaugnay ng pinakahuling kaganapan sa gulo sa Israel at ang kalagayan ng mga Pilipino na naapektuhan doon. Alamin natin ang latest sa sitwasyon sa Israel. Kasama natin ngayon si Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega. Magandang tanghali, sir. Kumusta na po ang ating mga kababayan sa Israel?
Magandang tanghali. Magandang tanghali sa inyo lahat. So tulad ng sinabi namin, the Philippine Embassy in Israel, along with other embassies, are working double time, are doing all they can to ensure the safety and protection of our kababayans, including working on their repatriation. Right now, the situation in Israel is more stable, so our efforts are now concentrated on Gaza. If you remember po, recently, we announced that the numbers who would like to be repatriated are around 70, and that there are 137 Filipino citizens in Gaza. Our embassy in Amman updated these figures. There's less Filipino citizens in Gaza, 131 actually, 131. Some left already some time ago, before this outbreak. So it's 131, including 3 tourists. So I see. Out of the 131, up to 92 now are asking for repatriation. And that's as of several hours ago. By now, baka umakyat na. So 92, you say 92, that's over 70%. And not one has been repatriated yet because of the fact that Gaza is under a blockade. But we are working on it. We are working with our partners, diplomatic partners, to see if a humanitarian corridor can be opened to allow people to exit through, obviously, if not the border with Israel, through the Rafah border with Egypt. As for our kababayans in Israel, there are already some who have indicated that they want to go home, not because they were victimized by the war specifically, but because indirectly they lost their jobs, or times are hard for them, for economic reasons, therefore, obviously aggravated by this conflict. So there are at least 22 Filipinos in Israel who have indicated that they want to go home. The first batch at government's expense will be leaving on October 8. There are 8 of them. Expenses, October 16. October 16. 16. There are 8 of them leaving on October 16. Leaving on October 16, paid for by the Department of Migrant Workers and OWA. And as they have promised, once they arrive, they'll be given the proper assistance, the usual reintegration and other assistance packages provided by the DMW and OWA. Now, there are reports that we have been repatriating those students who you may have heard of, 300 plus students, agricultural students who are accounted for, and that we've been repatriating them. Not exactly. There was a first batch which already arrived. It's already arrived, about 68, I believe, if the number is right. They're not at our expense because these were upon the conclusion of their studies, and they are leaving. Right now, there are still flights out of Israel. El Al airline is still operating. Other airlines apparently have closed their flights, but there are flights. There are flights in and out of Israel, but may we repeat our travel advisory. Best not to go to Israel now at the current time. In fact, we had a Zoom meeting last night with our embassies in Tel Aviv and in Amman and in Cairo. And our embassies in Tel Aviv right now are preparing in case there's a need for evacuation, although it's not likely, of course. They're seeing about buses and all. And they were told by a rental company in the north that, no, we can't lend a bus because we are touring Filipino here. There are Filipino tourists in Nazareth or in Galilee. So, of course, now they the embassy in Amman is assisting our tourists, Filipino tourists in Israel who cannot leave in case their flights were not via El Al, to leave via Jordan. In fact, 4 have entered Jordan from Israel for this tourist. So the situation in Israel is not a big problem if it refers to the evacuation of nationals, because the situation there is more stable and we're ready to repatriate them, and we don't expect big numbers. It's our kababayans in Gaza. Ganun po. So, obviously, Israel has indicated that they will undertake measures to eliminate Hamas. So, Gaza has been placed on voluntary repatriation or crisis alert level 3. Israel is still on alert level 2, which is non-deployment. And so is the West Bank, which is the right side of the second land portion of Palestine, or of the state of Palestine.
Sir, so ano po yung latest ngayon, yung since this morning?
Yes, I regret to inform you, you are aware that as of yesterday, there were 2 confirmed Filipino fatalities. I think the media, in fact, it's already in the front page, knows the identities, but I will still not divulge the names because it's already known. All right, 1 man and 1 woman, it's known. And 4 missing, including 1 for confirmation. I regret to inform you that, yes, it is confirmed there is a 3rd Filipino casualty. A 49-year-old woman from Negros Occidental. Her family is aware, the president is aware. And the Philippine government, of course, is working, with the family. The embassy in Israel is in touch with the sisters who are in Kuwait, actually, for the repatriation of remains. So that leaves, according to the embassy, 3 casualties and 3 missing Filipinos still. However, it doesn't mean that there's no hope, because as we said before, there were a lot more missing a week ago, and then paunti ng paunti. So possibly these 3 will still show up, no? We hope. And now we join the nation in extending our deepest sympathies to the relatives of the latest casualty, who was also a caregiver. Yes, so, of course, we thank also the Israelis for their assistance for our kababayans now who need protection in Israel right now.
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Yusek, since 3 na po'y confirmed, kasama po yung 49-year-old woman from Negros Occidental, and still 3 missing, meron kasing family po na napanood yung kanyang asawa sa video na kinukuha po, hostage. Lalaki po yon. Kasama po ba yon doon sa missing?
Opo. Hindi po siya isa sa mga 3 casualties, nasa missing po.
So nasa missing po. Until now, wala pa po tayong information kung nasaan po.
Wala po. May I now go on the President's instructions for us, because we met with the President yesterday. He said that the immediate concern is repatriation. But nobody right now can get in or out of Gaza. So repatriation, of course, is not yet possible at this time, unless the humanitarian corridors are made open. So this is a diplomatic initiative. We're in touch with the governments in the region. And of course, the United Nations will hold a session today, the United Nations Security Council, and we expect them to call for a humanitarian corridor to allow civilians to leave. But once it is declared, once the opening is declared, we must be ready, and in fact we are getting ready our embassy in Cairo is sending a team to the border. And we are providing them funding to be able to rent the necessary transportation to bring them from the border to Cairo and to fly them to Philippines, yung 92. According to our embassy in Amman, which is in touch with them, the Filipinos in Gaza, and I myself know Gaza, I was stationed in Israel before, are very resilient. They will, if they are told, meet here, they will. Or if they're told, just show up at the border at this time, they will. Because it's only at most 30 minutes from Gaza City and other parts of Gaza to the Egypt border. So we will be ready. The President also directed the Department of Foreign Affairs to contact countries and also through their embassies in Manila also to provide critical assistance in looking for Filipinos who are unaccounted for and to help the Philippines in getting them out of Gaza. At the same time, ASEAN countries have also approached us for help. At the same time, they offer help. For example, Indonesia is offering to help Filipinos who want to leave the West Bank. Well, they have no presence in Gaza, obviously, but they have citizens in Gaza, so they're asking our assistance. So it's a international approach, no? The President also directed relevant agencies to prepare for, of course, the reintegration and of the Filipinos when they come home, which is standard every time we repatriate Filipinos, no? And of course, that includes the receipt of ayuda, or financial assistance. And now about the need for permits to enter. Of course, first, it's needed for Israel to agree to a humanitarian corridor, and it's needed for Egypt to allow citizens to enter through their border. So we are also talking with our friends from Egypt about that, so that our kababayans who want to be repatriated could be brought there. In the President's words, what is critical now is Gaza, and let's keep exploring all possible exit options. You already know that he has met the Israeli ambassador, who has promised that no civilians are being targeted. Nevertheless, if Israel, as they say, actually conducts an operation against Hamas targets, there will be civilians who will naturally be casualties. And we aim, hopefully, that no Filipino will be among the casualties. Let me give you a profile of the Filipinos in Gaza. So there's about 131 of them. Not all are Filipina women married to Palestinians. Some are their children, or even grandchildren. So they are practically of Arab ethnicity. You see? Now, the spouses of the Filipinos are Palestinians. We cannot guarantee what Israel or Egypt will decide. So it may be a difficult decision like what happened in Ukraine. If a Filipino woman will leave, she may need to leave her husband and go to the Philippines with her kids, but not with her husband. The same thing happened in Ukraine. Some remained, some left. So that's something, that's a reality, no? Our concern, of course, is our kababayans. The embassy in Amman is also thinking about our kababayans. There are 70 of them in the West Bank, but nobody is interested there. No, not one of the not one of the Filipinos there would be interested in leaving, because in part, well, they don't feel the they don't feel the violence from that area. So it's all right, but there may be unrest because there will be protests, the usual rallies whenever there's skirmishes. So they'll just be advised to take utmost precautions po. So ganun po, yun ang instructions ni President, work on the repatriation, talk with governments, make sure that those who return are given the proper ayuda. And time is of the essence. Our embassy is already sending their team to the border.
Follow up kanina, ano po. Clarification lang po, Yusek. Yung pong 22 Filipino in Israel, hindi po yun sa Gaza galing?
No,
Yung-
hindi po, hindi po. Ito yung mga talagang OFW sa Israel na nawala na ng trabaho dahil sabi ng embassy, yung iba doon dahil hotel workers tapos nagsasara yung hotel. Dahil hindi lang dahil sa crisis pero recently dahil tense yung situation or what. So wala na silang trabaho. So they've decided to just go home.
So yung 92 po, sa Gaza po yun?
Sa Gaza. Parinig na, nagpahiwatig na gusto nilang umuwi.
Umuwi po as long as makakuha tayo ng humanitarian
The
corridor.
humanitarian corridor for them to exit through Egypt, no? And of course, Egypt has to give their permits, no? Kasi same as if you remember yung sa Sudan, ganun din, no? Pero dito po, yung galing Khartoum sa Sudan, ilang oras yun, maraming oras para makarating sa border ng Egypt. Tapos ang tagal nila naghihintay doon para papasukin sila ng Egypt. From the border, ilang oras naman by bus pumuntang Cairo. This will be less kasi mas maliit ang distansya dito, no? Ganun pa man, pinapaabot na namin sa inyo, once they leave, there's no guarantee na pagdating sa border, baka hindi agad silang papasukin. They may also wait 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, tulad na nangyari sa Sudan. So, we're counting on the UN. And of course, there will not just be Filipinos. There will be other nationalities as well, no? Let us, of course, we have to anticipate the possibility that what will finally be decided is that only foreigners will be allowed out. But that's a lot of foreigners still, no? Not just Filipinos. So they'll be there. I'm sure the international community, the Red Cross and other organizations will find a way to provide them food and all that in case they have to stay at the border while their papers are being processed. However, inayos na ng ating embassy sa Cairo at Amman yung kanilang travel documents or kanilang passports or what. So they have the papers to be able to travel to the Philippines. The question is entry to Egypt. Safe entry to Egypt. But we're working on that in full accordance with the instructions of the President.
Okay. Marcel Halili, TV5.
Sir, yun pong nabanggit ninyo kanina, first batch po ng magre-repatriate sa Israel sa October 16. So kailan po yung inaasahan natin na the remaining...
We don't expect it to take long because they're only 20. It's just a matter of getting them commercial tickets, commercial flights. So I'm sure by the end of October, nakauwi na mga yan, and then let's see if there will be more who will ask. Possibly, if there's a full-scale war already, possibly there'll be more who for understandable reasons, might say, I better leave Israel. But it's not that complicated for Israel because we could just book them commercial flights or drive them to Jordan. Of course, they'll need clearance as well. And then from Jordan, fly them home. So, hindi po yun. Ang problema yung sa Gaza.
Okay. Sir, yun pong kanina na, yung third Filipino po na na-confirm na casualty, may we know kung ano po yung naging cause nung death niya?
No, I myself don't have that information. Just the embassy said that the morgue and the Jerusalem police confirmed. Okay, it's Filipino. Apparently, the landlady also, I'm sorry, not the landlady, the employer. The employer, I think, tweeted it also or messaged it. Unlike yung pangalawang namatay na Filipina, sabay yung amo at saka siya namatay. No, that's the second one. This is the third one, unfortunately. So it's 2 women and 1 man.
Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Sir, to confirm, yung third Filipino fatality, ito po yung kino-confirm natin through
Yes.
DNA testing.
Yes, or DNA or other testing, yes. Yes, opo. Yes.
Tapos sir, may monitoring na po ba tayo just sa situation mismo ng mga Pilipino na nasa Gaza, considering na may blockade nga po doon, mahirap yung pagkain, yung tubig,
Yes,
yung kuryente.
okay, the good, well, ano ko sabihin po? Ayoko sabihin good news because it's not, di ba sinabi na Israel is blocking, not allowing electricity, water, and so forth. Kasi they're the ones actually under the arrangements. Israel provides electricity, water, food. Kasi they, although they withdrew from the Gaza Strip in 2005, they still control, in effect, the borders. So they're the ones allowing things to go in or out. According to our embassy in Amman, they still have electricity, water, etc., but limited for a few hours a day. So our embassy is in touch with them. They're not dying of hunger. You know, there is. They are not yet. They're not casualties, of course. So they're in touch. So ang susunod, of course, is to inform them when it's the right time, when it's possible to go to the border. If need be, if possible, we will also provide them with transportation from the cities in Gaza. It's not large. No, at most it will take 30 minutes lang to the border. But ang sabi ng ating ambassador, Filipinos, and we know this, are very resilient, very resourceful. Just tell them where to meet or where to go. They will arrive there. If the question, though, as the President also said, papayag ba yung ating mga kababayan na hindi kasama yung kanilang mga asawa? Let's first hope that eventually we'll be able to have that humanitarian corridor. But we have to be ready. It could be any time in the next few days or week maybe.
Another question, sir. Kasi nabanggit din po ng embassy sa Tel Aviv na medyo stable na yung situation sa rest of Israel, except na lang doon sa may southern part, no? Pero what prompted po the raising of the alert level from 2 to 3?
No, 3 is for Gaza.
Okay.
Gaza. Yung alert level 3 is for Gaza, yung repatriation, yung voluntary repatriation. Israel is still 2. We raised it to 2, meaning wag muna mag-deploy. Wag muna magpadala ng workers. So may I clarify? Israel is 2, Gaza is 3, and the West Bank, which is the other part of the state of Palestine, is 2. All right. West Bank, yung West Bank. So, let me see. This is Israel. In the border of between Egypt and Israel is the Gaza Strip. To the right of Israel, beside Jordan, is the West Bank.
Okay. Any more questions?
That's the seat of the real Palestinian government. May I clarify, Hamas is not the government of Palestine. No? It is the government in Ramallah, which is in the West Bank. So
Alvin Baltasar, Radyo Pilipinas.
Yusek, good afternoon po. Yusek, ang concentration natin ngayon apparently doon sa sa area ng Israel. Pero kamusta yung mga kababayan naman natin doon sa Palestine? Baka naman na medyo meron din tayong baka madamay din doon.
Opo.
Anong hakbang ginagawa ng DFA para naman doon sa mga Pinoy sa Palestine?
Opo. Tulad ng sinabi ko po, meron tayong 70 sa West Bank at nagkipag-ugnayan tayo sa kanila. They're not in danger because walang hostilities doon. No? At saka yung Palestinian government, the official Palestinian government, is in favor of a diplomatic solution to their issues with Israel. No? Eventually a two-state solution. So the 70 are fine. We're talking about the 137 in Gaza. Yung 137 sa Gaza where it's controlled by the Hamas, who have no intention to have peaceful relations with Israel. In fact, they want State of Israel to disappear, no? To be eliminated, no? To be eradicated from the map. Ang ginagawa nating embassy ngayon, dalawang embassies nagtatrabaho. Yung Cairo at saka yung Amman. Our embassy in Jordan is the one in touch with them individually because they are the ones accredited as our representatives to the Palestinians, no? So they're in touch with each one. That's why they were able to correct their numbers to 131, no, hindi 137. And they were able to check that, they still have food and water, electricity, so but it's limited. Ang ginagawa ng ating embassy sa Cairo, sila ang susundo sa kanila once makarating na sila sa border, when the humanitarian corridor hopefully will be open or allowed. And they will be brought home, and then we'll have the reintegration, the usual programs of the government, no? Yung bigyan ng ayuda and so forth, no? Gastos po yan ng pamahalaan yung transportation nila para makalabas ng Gaza papuntang Pilipinas. Unfortunately, we can't send them supplies kasi nga may blockade. But they are resilient. I mean, they are already part of Gaza, no? Because they have long lived there. May asawa silang Palestinian. So our concern is their repatriation. Tulad ng sinabi ng Pangulo.
Okay. So, sir, ano naman po yung extra efforts na ginagawa ng pamahalaan ng embahada sa Israel para mahanap pa po itong tatlong missing?
Nagkikipagpulong araw-araw yung ating, I'm sure nakukulitan na yung, no, don't take that. Off the record, no. Off the, live tayo. I'm sure the Israelis are noticing the frequent calls of our government, of our embassy, no. Of course, it's no laughing matter. I apologize, no? Merong 3 missing. Aside from them, we are talking to, other governments kasi baka dinala sa iba't ibang bansa. So we're talking to governments in the region kasi hopefully either they're just hiding, ayaw magpakita, or what? Or if they were hostages, they're somewhere. If not in Israel, somewhere. Maybe in Gaza. Or brought to another country, and we're talking to governments in the region. So we'll spare no effort. However, we hope, of course, we need prayers, no? Also, that's why that's why we reiterate that the president condemned in the strongest possible terms these what he called barbaric or inhuman terrorist attacks, no? Because it targeted civilians, and that's a violation of international law.
Okay, Ivan Mayrina, GMA 7.
Yusek, what we know so far about the third fatality is that she's a woman from Negros Occidental, also a caregiver. Would we know if she died on the day of the attack on Saturday morning, or also in the area of kibbutz?
Well, she died in the area of the kibbutz, but not on the day of the attack. She was I'm not sure. We're not sure if she was a caregiver there in the south, but there was a music festival there, and there were a lot of people who were killed attending that music festival, which is usually held during the Sukkot, which is an Israeli holiday, no? And what we understand, she was one of the attendees, and a lot of people died there. By the way, why do you need testing? Why does it take time? Unfortunately, a lot of the bodies of those who were killed were mutilated or burned or so, no? So that's why it's taking time to determine and so forth, no? I'm not sure. I can't confirm that she was a caregiver from the south, but that she was there attending a music festival, which was a subject of an attack by the Hamas.
And has the president communicated with the family of the
No,
third fatality?
no, because the president, it's very recent news. The president knows about it. He will contact the family, of course. It's literally within the last hour or so that the president knew, although news reached us from the embassy a little earlier this morning. Although I must say, I note that some legislators are already aware of it, so they have their sources, perhaps.
Thank you,
Yes.
Yusek.
No more questions?
Salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Jinky Baticados,
Ah, yes.
IBC 30 Pahabos.
Sir, sorry. Actually, for the record lang naman po ito, sir. Para lang pumabura yung minsan kasi may mga pamilya dito, yung mga OFWs na nandun, naiipit sa gulo. Minsan sasabihin nila, ano ba, kailan pa kayo...
Sa ulo?
Sa gulo, sir.
Sa gulo,
no?
sa gulo po.
So, minsan kasi, sir, na nabiblame po yung mga ahensya ng gobyerno natin, sabi na walang ginagawa, ano pang hinihintay ninyo, bakit hindi pa i-repatriate o wala pang mandatory repatriation. So, para lang po sa kaalaman ng lahat, bakit po tayo, kailan pinapatupad ang mandatory repatriation versus po dito sa tinitingnan natin na talagang hinihintay muna natin na magpa-repatriate ang mga kababayan
Opo.
natin, sir?
First of all, hindi pa sinalakay yung Gaza. So it's voluntary. Kasi maaring hindi salakay yung Gaza. Pero once pumasok na, tapos, state of war, kailangan mandatory na. Pangalawa, walang ginagawang pamahalaan because precisely, may inuwi na tayo. In fact, may inuwi na tayong mga Filipino, no? At saka, even case when they're able to ride their planes or go to Jordan, that's effort ng pamahalaan. That's also effort ng pamahalaan. Our ambassador is going there, or his team is going there. May I say something about Ambassador Ezedin Tago, our ambassador in Egypt? He was the same ambassador who rescued a lot of Filipinos from Sudan on the first day or second day that there was the war and there were Filipinos arriving at the border. He had to rush to the border in a car, many hours. The car turned, turntable, and yet he still proceeded after he recovered. He proceeded. His vice consul went to the hospital. After a day, pati yung vice consul, Bojer Kapati, pumunta sa border. That is the Philippine Foreign Service for you. I'm not surprised that he did that because that is our service to the nation. And why do they do things heroically? Because they serve our heroes overseas. Salamat po.
Okay. There are no more questions. That concludes our press briefing today. Thank you so much, Yusek Ed De Vega, and thank you, Malacanang Press Corps. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.